What's going on, guys? So before I start this review, I know you're noticing that I'm in my original spot. I started doing a straight out the theater review in my car earlier, but my camera died. I didn't think to recharge my battery, so here we are. I'll give you your review nonetheless. So let's talk about Candyman. First of all, I was a big hardcore fan of the original 1992 version starring Tony Todd. So when it came to this, and I kind of figured they were going to go this way because Candyman, that's what this is named. They've done this so many times before, especially with Halloween and the upcoming Scream. They've pulled that so many times. I think it's Hollywood's way of trying to redeem themselves of some of these franchises that they messed up. But in some cases, that didn't always work. And I'm sorry to say that Candyman is actually one of them. But I will say this, and starting off with the positives, I did like the characters in this. You know, basically Candyman, if you say his name 5 times, and he'll appear in the mirror, he'll appear behind you and kill you. That's basically what Candyman is. So, I mean, this one wasn't no different. But you got this guy, and I'm not going to pronounce this actor's name because he's got one of those hard to pronounce names. I'm not going to be disrespectful. But he was pretty cool. You know, he plays this painter, this enthusiastic artist that's trying to make ends meet. You know, he lives with his girlfriend and this and that. And, you know, he just runs into this myth of the Candyman. Right off the bat with the positives, I will say that the main guy, the one I just mentioned, was pretty good. The characters were nice. And you have this other guy that's kind of like the comic relief, but he's not trying too hard. With most movies, you got this comic relief that kind of ruins it. You don't really get that in this. You actually get a decent character that's there for the laughter when needed. So I appreciate them doing that. I gotta give them props for that. And I like the whole setting of the Cabrini Green setting. You know, they bring the Cabrini Green place back, or whatever you call that. And, you know, for nostalgic purposes, I actually did appreciate that a lot. It just brought back that 90s nostalgic feel for me. I like the whole setting. I like the way the movie was shot. The all-around cinematography work. Just the way the place looked. I like that. It did kind of bring back a little something for me. Especially from the original. The kills in it was awesome. You get plenty of carnage candy when Candyman shows up. These slices and dices. And that's what you go to these movies for. Plenty of blood. Plenty of gore. Plenty of carnage candy. For any horror movie fan, you'll be satisfied. I just like the whole setup. Like I said, you get that Cabrini Green feel like how they did in the original. And the way the movie was lit up and cinematography work, the shot by shot, it was actually done pretty well. Sadly, that's as far as the positives I can say, because from here on out, it's kind of downhill. First of all, the first negative I need to give, and this is the big one, is the Candyman himself. Most of the reason why I didn't like this movie. Now maybe I should mention the direction first before I mention the Candyman himself. The direction, it just didn't work for me. Those of you who hadn't watched it, spoiler alert, this may spoil a little bit for you. But they went in this, okay, Daniel Robitaille, played by Tony Todd's character, not being the only Candyman. There was several others out there after him, which I guess to anybody would like kind of let that pass because it's in a different direction. So I understand that, but if you're a hardcore fan of the original, like I am, I just didn't really fly with me. I didn't like the fact that Tony Todd's Daniel Robitaille wasn't the main focus of this. You know, Tony Todd brought that slick, debonair, deep voice about him that just entices you. And in a way, it really instills fear in you as well. That's what Tony Todd did for the original. But the Candyman they got to play in this, the character choice they got to play in the new film, he was a little bit of a joke. Sure, there's plenty of carnage candy. He did F somebody up pretty good. But it's just the way, like his physique. I was standing there, like when he showed up the first time, I was like, you're funny. He just didn't do anything for me. He didn't instill fear in me or anything. He just showed up, killed somebody, and then disappeared. He didn't give out any fear at all. Anything that Tony Todd did in the original, it just didn't live up at all. I did like the fact that they kept on mentioning the events in the first one. But when they did this whole stupid shadow puppet thing. I couldn't get into that portion of it. It was weird, it was cringy, and it just wasn't for me. But like I said, I like the fact that they brought up the events of the first one. But the way they did it, it just didn't work for me. I really wish they would have chose to actually play like several clips from the original instead of going the route that they did. Now I know some people might like it, and that's fine, but it just wasn't for me. I just thought it was stupid. It was cringeworthy every time it would show up like that. It would just present itself like that. And by the third act, you got all this stuff happening, and it just didn't feel right. And you got all this stuff happening, and then you're like, okay. Then the end credits roll, and it's like, okay, so that happened, and I guess we're done now, so I'm leaving. But in the end, guys, Candyman wasn't terrible. It still had its moments. For those of you who are horror fans that just like straight up carnage candy, you might get a kick out of it. You might find some enjoyment out of it. But if you're wanting this one to live up to the original, you'll be greatly disappointed. I'm so sorry that I disappointed you. Candyman just was not for me. It just didn't grab me. It just didn't do anything for me. But I always say, go see it for yourself. Be your own critic is what I always say. You might like it. You might like it a lot better than I have. So thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Candyman, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you like the original better? Did you like its sequels? Leave me your comment down below and give me your thoughts. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Like, subscribe, comment, and share, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.